Welcome back to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew. You might remember last segment we covered GAO now investigating DHS ammo purchases. And this goes back all the way back to March 2012 when we were covering these stories as they broke, as they were placing these purchase orders, mostly for hollow point bullets, which they say are for target practice, which I think is a total crock of bull. But what we want to do is take you back from the beginning all the way up to date, and we're sitting here with Jakari Jackson. He's going to do that for us. How's it going, Jakari?
Very well, very well. Now, I have a stack of articles. This is pretty much monthly since March of last year. Now, for the sake of time, we're not going to cover every single month, but we're going to hit the big points and let people know that this is nothing new, that they have billions of bullets. You know, some different sites have different numbers. Some people count this, some people don't count that. But at the end of the day, they have billions of bullets. We're going to start with that right now. Let's go to our first article, guys. DHS and ICE ordered 450 million rounds of .40 caliber ammo. ATK announced that it is being awarded an indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity agreement from the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and 40 caliber ammunition. This includes 4 option years and will have a maximum volume of 450 million rounds. So just one company, ATK, has 450 million rounds under a 4-year option. Now, people always say, well, they don't have them all right now. Well, if you order 450 million or something, you're still going to get it at some time. If you go spend, you know, $450 million over 4 years, you're watching like, hey, Rob, what are you doing spending all this money? And
that's just the start of it. That was just the first purchase order that we started tracking, and it gets more and more and more. And then we got the tanks, we got the machine guns.
Right, and don't forget about that. We talked about that a little bit yesterday with David Knight. They also have armored personnel carriers and fully automatic assault rifles. We'll talk about that
for personal defense.
For personal defense, if the Department of Homeland Security has them, they're not assault rifles, they're for personal defense. Right. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Continue conspiracy theories.
Okay, yeah, I know I'm wicked conspiracy theorist. Homeland Security buys enough ammo for a 7-year war against the American people. Now, I would like to point out this is as of April of last year, pretty much a year ago. Now it's over a 20-year war. Some people say 30-year war, but we'll go with conservative numbers here because many people can't handle it.
USA.
USA, that's exactly. Testimony by Major General Buford C. Blunt. This is what he had to say. In active battle operations in Iraq, ammunition is expended at the rate of 5.5 million rounds per month. That is 66 million rounds per year. So 66 million rounds in the Iraq war, but you can see DHS is nowhere satisfied with that little number.
First purchase order, 450 million rounds.
Right. And it just keeps on coming. We're going to get to all that. Now, this was the rifles you were referring to, Rob. DHS adds high-powered battle rifles to arms buildup. Now, this is one of the earlier purchases. This is July of last year. On July 5th, the Department of Homeland Security announced on fezbizops.gov that it plans to buy 36 Colt LE901 rifles. And you say, well, it's only 36. Well, first of all, that number will get much larger as we see time go on. And still, why do they need one rifle? I mean,
one fully automatic rifle.
Yeah, fully automatic rifle. Yeah. Why do you need a fully automatic rifle when you say they're too dangerous for the American people to have? So that's one of their deals here. The latest DHS purchase follows a solicitation issued on July 13th for the purchase of .223 caliber Remington enhanced performance ammunition in excess of $500,000. $500,000 of .223 caliber. And actually, I have it right here, Rob. When we went out to the, I know it's evil, it's wicked. I want everybody to get a shot of that, guys. I'm going to put that right there so you can get it on that camera. Which camera my hand? Right there. Okay, yeah. So look at that. That's what a .223 round looks like. This is a rifle round, and this is not where it stops. Remember, we started with .40 caliber, and now we have .223 round, and there it is right there. You can see it holding it right there. That's what one looks like. But it doesn't stop there, Rob, so let's keep going on.
Hey, can I buy this off of you?
Yeah, this is probably the only place you can get them because you go to the sporting goods store now, they don't have anything.
Yeah, I know. And we did a
special report. Yeah, because we went to the stores. Alex went to one of the stores here in town, and he was trying to buy rifle ammunition, and they're saying, hey, we can't sell you anything because we don't have anything because cops are buying it straight off the truck.
Right. And then Acevedo doesn't have a problem.
Yeah, Acevedo has no problem. Our police chief here in Austin getting these rounds right here, but we did. But you guys can watch that on prisonplanet.tv in the archives. We'll move on for the sake of time. DHS post survey prior to bids on .357 SIG duty ammunition. The purpose of this questionnaire is to obtain information on the commercial industry's capability to satisfy the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's requirements for 357 SIG caliber training ammunition. So we see DHS sent out a survey to say, can you guys provide this massive amount of ammunition that we will soon require? And 357 is lauded for its, quote, stopping power, according to the article. So we went from 40 caliber to 223s and now 357s.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there. I mean, they're taking pretty much anything that they can get.
It's all for Al-Qaeda.
It's all for Al-Qaeda and people in John Deere hats.
Yeah.
DHS purchases 200 million more rounds of ammunition. So we went from 450 then to more rounds, and now we have an additional 200 million rounds here, Rob. It just does not stop. A series of new solicitations posted on FezBid's Ops website show that the DHS is looking to purchase 200 million rounds of .223 rifle ammunition over the next 4 years, as well as 176 rounds of .308 caliber and also an additional 25,000 rounds of blank .308. But people will take away from that article, Rob, is they're going to say, well, they're purchasing 25,000 rounds of blanks. Okay, they purchased 25,000 rounds of blanks, but what about the 176 rounds of live ammunition?
Hollow points.
So we go from 40 caliber to 223 to 357 and now 308. 308 is a sniper round for anybody who's not familiar with that, and it's much larger than this, I assure you. I don't know if we have any of those in the studio. We have bullets laying around in the studio. So, all right, we'll move on now. So why did the DHS buy all that ammo? That is a very good question posed in this article. The National Weather Service ordered about 46,000 rounds of 40 caliber hollow point. Why does the National Weather Service need any amount of anything as far as guns are concerned? And also the Social Security Administration put in an order for 176,000 rounds of 357 SIG jacketed hollow point. Yeah, I'm sure they have a very good reason for requiring such a massive amount of ammunition.
It's probably to get people to pay their Social Security tax or to maybe give people Social Security numbers. Who knows? I mean, it's ridiculous, though. Who needs those hollow points? They say it's for target practice.
Yeah,
right?
you don't go out and buy the most expensive thing you can buy for target practice.
Right.
I mean, that's just with anything in life. You know, people, wear crappy shoes when they cut the grass because they don't want to wear their nice shoes out when they cut the grass. Right. So why would you buy the most expensive ammunition you can find to go shoot? Because we're using the American people's money. USA. Yeah, USA. Yeah, they need those hollow point bullets to shoot at targets of little kids and so on. But we'll keep moving. DHS buys 200 million more rounds of ammunition. Now, this is from January of this year. The Department of Homeland Security has awarded a company a contract worth $45,000 to provide the DHS with 200,000 rounds more of bullets. So we just had, was it 2 articles ago, 200,000 rounds of ammunition. Now we have more 200,000 round orders. I mean,
to add to the 1.6 billion that they had already secured.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they say, well, that's over 5 years. Well, that's enough for a 20-year war.
And that's over 5 years. Is going to keep the shelves empty for the next 5 years. Yeah. You go to a gun show or a gun store now, they don't have any ammunition.
They're getting it trucked over from Russia. Or
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and the UN Arms Trade Treaty would get rid of that. No international ammunition. Now, this is the article we posted in February of this year. DHS purchases 21.6 million more rounds of ammunition. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. The article reads, the solicitation asked for 10 million pistol cartridge, 40 caliber, jacketed hollow point, 10 million 9mm, and also 1.6 pistol cartridge, 9mm. Now, I had a chance to talk to Paul Joseph Watson earlier today, and I said, Paul, I was looking at your article here, and I couldn't see how he got to the 21.6 million number when I looked at the purchase orders. And he reviewed the document, and he said, hey, from the time I've published this article back in February of this year, they've gone in and changed the purchase orders. So Paul Joseph Watson originally had a document that said the number was much higher than what it currently is. Now he does say that the number is, I believe, 240,000 rounds for this particular purchase order. Now, his other articles we found to be correct, and he wasn't even wrong. He was just quoting numbers that were later changed. Right. So definitely be aware of that.
And they're still getting hollow points.
Yeah, I mean,
for target practice.
For target practice, but regardless, they still got the bullets, and he wasn't inaccurate in his analysis. They just changed the numbers on them. Now, if we can go to one of our last articles here, this is actually a graph, and I just want people to see this. so they can add up for themselves some very conservative numbers. You can see it right there on your screen if we can scroll down a little bit. And you can see on that particular site, the political guide. Those are from March 2012 to September 2012, not even counting some of the more recent entries we had just a second ago. But you can see it right there. If you add up that total number, it's still well over 1 billion rounds. So regardless of if you want to be conservative, if you want to count every single bullet, it's still over 1 billion rounds, closer to 2 billion. So definitely be aware of that. And those are conservative numbers, as I pointed out. And people say, well, I'm concerned about these people having all these bullets and all this ammunition, but what are we supposed to do? We have this article, DHS to meet with congressmen on ammo purchases. Now, this is after a very long time of silence from the Department of Homeland Security. Big Sis
They've refused to answer many times.
Yeah, Big Sis like won't acknowledge it at all. She dodges the question. She downplays it. Like when and if we decide to tell you about these things, we'll let you know. But a congressman got or at least has an interview scheduled. We'll take a look. The Department of Homeland Security has finally answered a letter sent by New Jersey Congressman Leonard Lance by agreeing to meet with the lawmaker and explain why the federal agency is purchasing ammunition in huge quantities. Now, Rob, as far as I know, that meeting has not taken place, and I'm pretty sure they're running him through the ringer, making him hop through flaming hoops of razor wire to get an interview, get a sit down, and get some testimony from him. But definitely support this Congressman Leonard Lance. You may not agree with the congressman on everything, but write his office, email him, call him, say, hey, I support you in this endeavor, and make Napolitano answer the questions.
There you go. I totally agree. Thanks for that report, Jakari. Right. And, you know, it comes on the heels of now the GAO is going to do an investigation. So obviously they think there's something up with this.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, and Forbes magazine came out and said it's time to have a national discussion about this.
Pat Robinson.
And it's not just us talking about
Sarah
it. Yeah,
Sarah Palin. Even if you don't like Sarah Palin, I don't like Sarah Palin all the time, but she had enough sense to recognize this issue.
Yeah, this is something, it's not for a buildup for a war overseas. Department of Homeland Security, they operate domestically.
Right.
Now, the only other reason they could be doing this is maybe they're shipping these down to Mexico as part of Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only other thing I could think of other than using it on the American people.
That's a very good point, yeah.
So with that, we're going to go to break, and we'll be back. We've got a great interview coming up. We're actually not going to do it in this studio. We taped this interview earlier, and, well, our brand-new TriCaster decided that both power supplies were just going to go kaput. Now we're back up on our old TriCaster system, and I'm not very impressed with the TriCaster system. We had this system in for a week, had a few glitches here and there, and then all of a sudden we're getting ready to shoot an interview, and boom, it cuts out. We had to go to the radio studio to shoot that interview. So when you come back from break, we'll be in the radio studio, and we're going to interview the guy that confronted Dan Bidandi down in Watertown, Massachusetts during the lockdown, which he says there was no lockdown. He claims there was nothing going on, and he was driving around freely and happy. And
even though we heard the testimony, I was monitoring the radio traffic during that time, and a lady was talking to one of the officers. The officer, I guess, was calling his sergeant, whoever. This lady has to get to an animal shelter to feed the animals before they die.
Yeah.
She had to ask permission to go to the animal shelter. It doesn't seem like people were moving around free to me.
Conspiracy theorist. So basically what you're going to hear is that we're all crazy, that we have no idea what's going on, even though we're quoting mainstream news articles, mainstream video sources showing in their own words that the FBI has complicity in past events. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be questioning them on this event, especially when they put pictures up of these suspects and say, these are the only people you should look at. Don't look at any other pictures of anybody with backpacks, even though it's a black backpack here that we're showing you that was blown up. Don't look at anybody else. It's these two guys, even though one of them's got a gray backpack. Don't pay any attention to that. We have an explanation for that. Just listen to us. We're the FBI. You have to trust us. We didn't plan those other 17 events with patsies and informants and our secret agents that we had behind the scenes. I mean, wait till you hear this interview. This guy is just, he's got it all figured out, and we're all crazy kooks for even questioning the government. And we'll be right back after this short break.
Hi, Hi, Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources. With over 30 years of experience in the precious metals business, I can tell you without a doubt, we are facing the most dangerous and volatile times, not just in the United States, but worldwide. Peace of mind is gold and silver. Now is the time to invest in gold. When it comes to bullion coins, our prices are competitive and the closest to melt. If it's numismatics you're looking for, we have some of the best deals out there. Visit MidasResources.com today or go to Infowars.com and click on the link to see our daily specials. Here's an example of one of our long-term specials we've been offering for more than a year. 2 silver dollars from the turn of the last century, plus 2 powerful films, The Obama Deception and The American Dream. We also add in the book Dishonest Money, all for $72 and free shipping. The most trusted name in precious metals is Midas Resources. Call 1-800-686-2237 or go to Infowars.com. I'm Ted Anderson with Midas Resources.
We are now only entering the edge of a global financial superstorm, the likes of which the planet has never seen. Here in the United States, the private Federal Reserve is giving more than $85 billion of taxpayer money a month to themselves and other offshore foreign banks. And the worst part is, we have to pay the bank's interest on the money we give them. There is now a race between the global central bank mafia cartels to see who can devalue their country's currencies the fastest. We are already seeing big increases in inflation at the grocery store and the gas line. This will eventually lead to hyperinflation. More than a dozen top globalists like George Soros have been buying record amounts of gold while at the same time bad-mouthing it to the public. Don't just listen to what they say, watch what they do. For more than 6,000 years of recorded human history, gold has been the ultimate hedge against uncertain times and inflation. Before investing in metals, it is important to do your own research and find a reputable company. Midas Resources has the highest Better Business Bureau rating of an A+. Unfortunately, very few precious metal companies can boast that. Midas Resources has assembled one of the most educated, researched, and professional teams of brokers in the industry. The evidence is overwhelming. In uncertain times, gold and silver is safe harbor. Now is the time to invest in gold. Call 800-686-2237 and Midas Resources will mail you 10 reasons to own gold absolutely free. No shipping. It's absolutely free. And finally, Ted Anderson wants to challenge you to find any deal that comes close to his 2 silver dollars at cost with free shipping with 2 free films and a book for $72. That's more than $160 value for $72 shipping included. Click the link at Infowars.com to go to the MidasResources.com specials page. Brought to you by MidasResources.com and Ted Anderson, the trusted name in precious metals.